Welcome to Learn by Doing Season 1 Project 2. In this course, what we're going to explore are nonlinear interpolations, which is the key technique that allows this particular R&D to work. When we do interpolations in Unreal blueprints, we use this lerp node, which gives us only a straight linear interpolation between 0 to 1. Now, in most cases, this is okay, but there are some cases where we want to make creative uses of interpolation, and that's where custom curves come in. Now, why don't we get started? So you should have watched the project setup video and have a template ready to go. I have one right here from the previous project, which is Season 1 Project 1. So go ahead and go over to the LBD template. We're going to Control-C, copy that, and then let's go over to July for myself because that's the month that I'm doing this course. So I'm going to paste it and let it complete. Now let's rename this to S1P2. So Season 1 Project 2. Let's dive in and also rename this to S1P2. Okay, and you should be able to launch this even on your version, so go ahead and click enter. So it seems that it has opened in 5.1 and I want it to open in 5.2. In that case, what you want to do is to just close this project and let's go to the Epic Games launcher. Okay, so now we want to manually launch 5.2 from here. So drop down and select 5.2 and let's click on launch. Now that it's open, let's go ahead and click on browse. And then let's go ahead and browse to our project, which is over here. And let's click on open. And you can do open copy, I think, or convert in place. So click on that. Okay, so our project now is in 5.2 and we can get started. Okay, why don't we get started straight to the secret sauce that is the curve asset. So let's go over into our blueprint folder right over here and we're going to right click, go to miscellaneous and click on the curve asset. So click on that and we'll do a curve float. So click on that and select. Let's call this C and let's just call this custom lerp and enter to open it. And as you can see, this is the curve editor. On the horizontal axis, we get the time and the y-axis is going to be the value. Now, the curve editor or the curve asset generally I think is used with sun. So you feed it a time and then you get the height of the sun. But we can also use it to create a custom curve. Now, in order to add a point, we can just right click and add key. And we want to go from 0 to 1. So we want to go over here, which is 1. So right click and add key. And let's zoom out and we want to go to 1 on the y-axis. So let's just drop a key somewhere in like 0.6. So right click here, add key. Okay, never mind. So it adds it here and then you can just drag it all the way up into 1 and select everything here. And let's do one of these, the cubic interpolation. Now this one, as you can see, you cannot adjust the kind of velocity, kind of like in After Effects, but you can if you select this one here. And as you can see now, you can pull this along just like in After Effects and adjust your own easing, which you actually can't do on the timeline for some reason, but here you can. So let's say that we want a steep sort of slope here, and we can just do something like this. And then also here, we just do something like that. Okay, I'm happy with that. So let's go ahead and save this. And let's go back to our content browser, and we'll create a blueprint that is basically the cylinder. Again, yes, a lot of cylinders in my tutorials, but we're going to go ahead and create it. So right click, blueprint class, actor, and we'll call this one BP cylinder. And let's go ahead and enter. All right, so we can get rid of the default scene root. So click on add, and we'll go and add a scene. Let's call this root and drag it on top to get rid of this default root. And then we'll add in a, cylinder. Now there'll be a custom mesh that will be included in the full version, but for this we can just use the one built into the editor. So let's just move all the way up here, and let's just make this scale a little bit different. So, okay, why don't we just go 0.5, 0.5, and the height, let's just crank it up a little bit, 10. That's too much. Maybe 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's just do 5. And we can also go into our side view and just drag this down where we can see it is on the surface. Let's go back to perspective. Okay, I think we're good with that. So let's go into our event graph. And why don't we just compile for now and get rid of this one. And then what we need is to bring in that curve asset into this blueprint. And in order to do that, all we need to do is to create a variable. So click on the plus icon, and we'll call this one curve asset. Okay, and then the type, you should be able to type in curve. I think it's this one here, right? Curve, no, it's curve float, I think. And let's compile this, and you should be able to select this from the dropdown and get our C_custom lerp, just like that, and compile and save. And then when we drag this in, this is our curve asset. Okay, now that we have the curve asset inside our blueprint, let's talk about the logic. Now, the logic is quite simple. We change the position of the cylinder in Z, the height of the cylinder, based on how far that is away from the moving target, which in this case is a ball. So what we need is to create a new variable again. So let's call this one a target actor. That's basically the moving ball. And it can be any actor. So let's go ahead and change the type to actor. Object reference, so it's over here. Okay, and then make this one a public or exposed in the level. Now we can get this one here, get actor, target actor, and then, and this concept is quite similar to Season 1 Project 1. So what we need to do now is to create a vector between the target actor's world location and the world location of this actors. So what we need to do is to get actor location. So the actor of this location, the location of this actor, and then we need to get the actor location of this one as well. Okay, and then we just do a subtract, and we can do this, right? And then this is our vector, and to get the length of this vector, we just do a vector length, just like that. Okay, and then we'll have a value something like 0 to 125, where the cylinder is away from the moving target or the ball, and we'll clamp that value to get a 0 to 1 value. So to do that is our handy node called range clamped, map range clamped. So the in range, we won't know, right? So we can get the max range as a variable. Let's call this max distance probably. And then we can make this expose in the level once again. And let's give it a default value so we can just do and compile. And let's just say 150. We can change this later. And then the out range is going to be 0 to 1. Okay, and this gives us a 0 to 1 value. And then what we can do is to do a lerp. Float lerp is fine. So this is the alpha. Okay, and then this will give us, let's just say we move up from 0 over here in A, all the way up to, let's go to a side view. No, actually, this is our 0 technically, so that's minus 250, and we go all the way up to 250, okay? Pretty simple. So let's just go ahead and do that. So A is going to be minus 250. And then we go to 250 in B. And then we need to do this, and we make a vector. And we only need the z-axis. So do that. And we'll bring in the cylinder here, just like that. And then we'll set its relative location. And just go ahead and put that in here. Okay, and actually we should just move this down. And like that. Bit of cleanup. And yep, this is basically how we will lerp it in a straight line. We can see how it works. So let's go ahead and compile this and save. Actually, this max distance, we don't want to edit it in the levels. So uncheck that, compile and save. Let's go to our map and we can get testing basically. All right, so for testing purposes, why don't we take this cube here that is our floor. Let's just first of all rename this to floor. And let's just give it a contrasting material that's going to be different from our cylinder. So, okay, why don't we just go for this, I don't know, green one? Yeah, that's included in the engine contents. If you can't find this, you just go ahead and click on this gear icon and do engine content and you'll get this one. Okay, so let's go ahead and drag in our cylinder, just like that. Let's just go ahead and zero this out. And I'm just going to see here. I think this one looks quite bad. So I'm just going to go to back to the cylinder and we'll just move this up 10. And then obviously we want to change that value as well. So minus 240 in the A. Okay, let's compile and save. And we'll just go back here. As you can see, it's a bit easier to see. Now, rather than doing a manual, a procedural spawn, we're just going to literally copy it by hand. So we'll make something like that. Okay, we should just go to the top view so we can get equal distance. Okay, you know what? I think we should just, yeah, something like that. It's okay. This is just for testing, obviously. So we'll do something like that. We'll select all of these and then we'll just do something like that. I think we just want another copy here. Yeah, I think that's fine. Why don't we just increase the size of this as well? So 15 by 15. Let's go into perspective. Yeah, I think we need another copy. So top. So this is alt click, by the way, if you didn't know. Okay. Perspective. Now let's just make our target a sphere. So we can just move this here. Okay. I think that's not on the surface. I think that's okay. Right now, obviously, we should move this down for a sec. Select all the cylinders, and then we need to assign a target actor. So click on the eyedropper thing and select the sphere. So now we have a target, and we should just be able to simulate. So let's just save the level, and click on simulate. Oh, okay, so I need to get the, okay, my bad. Stop that, and then the sphere needs to be movable. And let's simulate once again. Now, okay, what's going on here? Okay, so as you can see, the clamp value is not correct, the max distance value. So let's go ahead and select all of these, and then we can, oh, that's right, it's here. We can see the max distance from the center. So let's go to the top, and this one here is around 500. So I got it completely wrong, obviously. So we can just do 500 in max distance. Let's compile and save the map, and let's go into the perspective, and then we can simulate once again. And as you can see, we get a linear interpolation. So this glitchiness, we just turn off this grid snapping. So we can just do that. And as you can see, it interpolates linearly. And basically this over here is already 500. And we get a straight line from the closest one to the furthest one, which is clamped to 500. We can clamp it even further. So stop that, and then we can even do like, I don't know, 1,000. Okay. Let's save and simulate, and I think you get the point. Just like that. And this is how you can create the procedural animations. But obviously you came here for the custom curve. So how do we use that curve asset? Let's stop that, go back to the BP cylinder. Now instead of this straight lerp, what we can do is to get rid of this, and let's bring this curve asset over. And what we need to do is to drag out of here, and we'll do a get float value, right? Now in time, this is going to be basically your alpha in the lerp node, and the return value will give us the remap version. So let's make some space, and let's put this, I guess, over here, return value into here. And then, okay, now this is a 0 to 1 value as well. So we need to scale this up. So multiply. Okay, actually, we should probably remap this one again. So let's just control this one value, and the range is 0 to 1. And we want to do, just like before, minus 240 to 250. And then let's connect this to the Z. Okay, now we're ready. So let's go ahead and compile and save. And let's go ahead and save this one and click on simulate. And as you can see, we get this custom curve where you get a, matching the curve of this thing here. All right. And as you can see, this is how you can get that kind of wave effect. So if we were to basically go to the top, and let's go and select all of these, and then we can just basically mass kind of duplicate. Actually, we should bring the grid snapping back on for this one. So just do something like that. Okay, this is not very effective, but practical because we're manually copying everything. So, but this is just for testing purpose. So just bear with me, please. Okay, I think we have enough, so we can just go to perspective. Let's just put the sphere back somewhere here, turn off the grid snapping, and simulate once again. And as you can see, we get the effect that is seen in the R&D, basically. Now, there's a lot more processing going on, like a smoothing using the finterp2, just like the ones covered in Season 1, Project 1. And there's also a way to apply more effectors, as you can call it, on the curve. So we can actually do that right now. So stop that. And then what we can do basically is go over here, and there's a node called a power node. So do power. Okay. And basically, we just need to connect this return value and this exponent. Not sure how we're going to control this exactly from here, but we can just do one, which is no effect at all, which is what I think it is. So save this, and why don't we test it again? So simulate. Does it look different? I think it looks about the same. So, but what we can do is, this is like a contrast amount. So if we do 2, and let's compile and save, what will happen is that the slopes become steeper and these will kind of become flatter. So let's save this one and simulate. As you can see, we have more flat areas here and the slope is steeper. And this is what you also see in the R&D, where I use one of the joysticks and control the contrast live using the controller. And basically, this is the secret sauce behind the R&D. This is the end of the free portion of this course. Now, if you're already an experienced programmer, you should be able to figure out the rest of the R&D now that you know the sort of special ingredient of the setup. Now, I know some of you are a bit of a newbie with programming. That's okay. There is a full version where I take you through the step-by-step process until completion, and you can visit ntrct.live and access not only this course, but all the prior ones before it. So I hope to see you there, and make sure to give it a like on this video and subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of interactive art, new media art content in Unreal Engine.